Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today these are the magnet clasp bracelets that I will be making, and I am sure you can hear it in my voice. I am slightly under the weather. I'm actually getting over a cold right now. Throughout this video, I am sorry that my voice sounds like this, but I am on the mend and I'm taking some medicine, but I definitely wanted to get back to it. I've taken a few days off. I apologize for that. I wanted to get this out to you guys. Most of the components for these bracelets came from the dollar bead box and the dollar bead bag for the month of October 2023. If you are interested in the dollar bead box or the dollar bead bag, or like me, you're interested in both, I will have all the information in the description box below. And when you go check them out, you definitely want to use my code. That code is CRAFT2, and that code will get you $2 off your first month of a multi-month subscription. So if you would like to see how these bracelets came about, then stay tuned. All right, let's get right into it. Let's start off with the tools that I will be using. I have one set of cutters and I have one size 10 beading needle. And I want to briefly mention my tool set. It is the Casual Comfort tool set. And as the name suggests, these tools are so comfortable to use. The biggest thing for me is the size. For whatever reason, a lot of times jewelry making tools will be quite a bit smaller, and they certainly function. But for me, these just seem to be made for adult size hands. And honestly, I just can't see myself using anything else at this point. And I will link this tool set in the description box below, along with everything else I use in the video that did not come from the bead box. And I will be using 8-pound Fireline in the color Smoke. And that is this black color. And I always get the 125 yards just because I go through it so quickly. And I will be using my Bead Smith thread sap. And I have already strung my needle, and I have about a wingspan worth, which means I held my hands out as far as they would go to either end. I will also link below the opening video I did for the dollar bead box, and it will have a detailed description of all the beads that I use in this bead box. And from my own stash, I will be using these 15-0 seed beads right here in a kind of tan/honey color. And I will also be using just a few of these 11-0s in this kind of gold color. I will also be using one of my magnet clasps. So these two sizes of the fire polish bead are 4 millimeters, and these two sizes are 3 millimeters. And the first step in this bracelet, we are only going to be using the 4 millimeters and the 15-0 and kind of going back and forth. So here we go. So the first 4 I'm going to pick up is one of the 4 millimeters, a 15-0, the other 4 millimeter, and another 15-0. And then bring it down to the end. And then once I get it to the end, I only need to leave enough to make a knot. And I'm going to go back through all 4. Just like that, and pull it through. And when I pull it snug, they should be kind of stacked like that. And I am going to tie a knot. So with my short end here and my working thread, I'm just going to tie a regular over-under knot. And pull it snug one more time. Pull it snug. And I'm going to take my cutters and cut off that end thread. And I'm going to take my thread zap and push that button. And once it heats up, I'm going to go to that little thread on the end. Make it a little shorter. So now it should look something like this. And I'm currently coming off of that knot, so I'm going to go through this darker brown one. And just like that, I'm coming out of that darker brown one. And now this is going to be a very simple back and forth all the way down. So let's do a couple more. So I'll pick up a 15-0, the opposite color, and then another 15-0. Go through that last one. pull it just like that. And I'm gonna go through that 15-0 that I just added. And you wanna pull it kind of snug. And then go through the 4mm I just added. And then 15-0, the other color, 4mm and 15-0. Go through just like that. And then I'm gonna go through that 15-0 I just added. And then through the 4mm I just added. And that is the simple way we go all the way down the bracelet, and we'll stop at whatever length that you need the bracelet. Now, typically, I usually stop at about 6.5 inches, and I usually like to have my bracelets be about anywhere in the 7 to 7.5 inches. So I stop the beads at 6.5 to give me enough room for my clasp. So right now I'm coming out of the darker 4mm fire polished. So I add a 15-0, a lighter fire polished, and then a 15-0. Go through the opposite side, just like that. Here we go. Go through that 15-0 and through the 4mm fire polish, just like that. And I will continue this way, and we will meet back up once we get to the length that we are wanting. All right, so here it is. And like I said, I usually go for mine to be right at 6.5 inches so that I can add the clasp. So currently I am coming out of the last one that I just added. I picked up 3 11-0s, one of the colors of the 3mm fire polish, and one more 11-0. And then when we do the opposite clasp, we're gonna pick up the other color of 3mm. And I picked up one end of the magnet clasp, and I'm gonna go through it. Pull it all the way through. And then when you get down to the bottom, I'm gonna go back through that 11-0 at the top and the 3mm, and that's it. And pull it through. And then pull it down kind of snug, pick up 3 more 11-0s, and go through the other side of that 4mm fire polished at the end. And pull it all the way through. And we're gonna go around again. And I'm gonna go through one last time. You certainly don't have to go through 3 times, but I like the clasp to be pretty secure, so I'm gonna go through one last time. All right, so there is one side of the clasp added, and I'm now coming out of this 11-0 right here on the side, and I'm gonna start working my way down the first side. So now is when I'm gonna shift from the 4mm to the 3mm fire polished, and just like before, I'm gonna alternate. So I'm going to pick up one and go through the 15-0. Just like that, and pull it all the way through. And that'll make it fall right into place. And then I pick up the opposite color and go through the next 15-0 and pull it through. And it'll fall into place. And this is what we're gonna do all the way down. Next color, just like that, in the next 15-0. So continue doing this all the way down, and we will meet up when we get to the other end. All right, so here it is. I have one side completely finished, and as you can see, with just one side done, it starts to curl. So don't be surprised if it does that. So I have one side all the way down, and I am coming out of the 4mm at the end. And I'm going to make this end of the clasp exactly like I did this end. All right, so now I'm coming out of this 11-0, and I'm gonna fill in this gap right here. So I pick up the opposite color 3mm, and I'm gonna go into the next 15-0. Just like that. And I'm gonna follow it from that 15-0 through the 4mm, through the 15-0, back through this 4mm at the top. And now I'm gonna go around the clasp one more time until I'm coming out this side. Now I'm coming out the other 11-0, and this side of the clasp is done, and we're gonna work our way back down this side. And now I'm gonna try to have the color that's on this side be the opposite color of what's on this side. So I pick up the 3mm, go through the 15-0, just like that. Pick up the next one, go through the next 15-0. Just like that, all the way down. And then we'll meet up at the other end. All right. I have the other side done except for this last one. So I have picked up the last 3mm. And I'm going to go around the clasp one more time. Just like that to pull that last one into place. All right, so I've come back down and I'm coming out that last 11-0 and I'm gonna go down that first 3mm and now I'm gonna tie a knot. So I'm gonna go through just like that, pull till I have a little loop, put it through and pull. Make it nice and snug. One more time and then put it through the loop and pull. Now I'm gonna take my cutters, get as close as I can, pull out my thread zap, push the button, and melt that thread down. Just like that. And here it is, the final bracelet. And of course, magnet clasp. And here it is on. Again, very nice. And I have made a couple of these from this box. Here is another one that I've made. And this one I used 11-0 seed beads instead of 15-0 down the bracelet. Similar on the clasp at the end. And then this last one, this one added a pop of color. I had some blue and purple 3mm fire polished with the 4mm rounds that came in this month's box. Similar with the clasps on the end. And what's really cool about these is I think they would stack very well. This month's dollar bead box and dollar bead bag had very, very neutral colors in it. Very fall. And I think these look really, really good. All right, so here they are. And I have to say, I am super happy with how they came out. I really enjoy the fire polished beads that come in the dollar bead bag. And I also enjoy the strands and the beads that come in the dollar bead box, like these 4mm rounds here. I just really, really enjoy this bead box. And once again, if you are interested in the dollar bead box or the dollar bead bag, I will have all the information in the description box below. And I definitely encourage you to go check them out. And when you do, you want to use my code. That code is CRAFT2. And that code will get you $2 off your first month of a multi-month subscription. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so kind, and I greatly appreciate you putting up with my voice through this video. Like I said, I am definitely on the mend, and I hope to be back to myself very soon. And I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.